Hello guys and welcome to the 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge. The day is finally here. I hope you're excited. My name is Jonathan Boyd and I'll be your instructor and your host for the whole challenge. And we got a lot to cover today, guys. I'm glad to see a lot of you are already online. A lot of you are already participating. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we can dive right in. I'll get this set up for you. One moment. We're going to show you how everything works. We're going to go through everything you need to know. So if you're not exactly sure what's going on right now, you know you just showed up. First of all, great job for just showing up. I'm going to show you how everything works. You're going to know everything that you need to know. So no worries at all. Just one moment while I get this set up. And we should be good. Just a few more seconds here. All right, so like I said, welcome to the 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge. Today is day 1. Hope you can see my slides here. There's a couple of things that we need to do before we get started. I just want to make sure that everybody has a successful experience, that you can participate, that we can all talk in the chat, that we can communicate, and that way everybody's experience is going to be much better and I'll be able to teach based on your feedback and answer your questions as we go. So first things first, we got a couple of different things to do here. First of all, you should already be watching me from the challenge live page, but if you're not, let's go over that really quick. Here's the page that you should be seeing me on now. I see some comments already coming in. I'll address the comments in just a second, but on this page is where we're going to be hosting the challenge every single day, so this is where I'm going to be. As you can see, it looks like we got somebody from Norway. Hey, my grandfather's from Norway. Nice to meet you, Sigmund. But as you can see on day 1, it says you are here. Every single day of the challenge, we're going to have the videos posted up here at the top, so you can always come back and watch the recordings, okay? So on day 1, we're going to put a video here. After this recording is over, we'll put it in the live page. On day 2, of course, we'll have the recording for you, so you can come back and watch any of these challenge videos, any of the sessions, as many times as you want, and whenever you want. So if we scroll down the page here, first of all, here is the chat, but I'm going to show you the page first. This is the video where you should be seeing me now, and this is where you're going to be able to see all of your challenge videos, day 1, day 2, day 3, and so forth. If we go down below here, you're going to see some resources. So first of all, I'm going to talk about this in a second, but here's a book called How to Get Unstuck. That's going to be available for you on Friday. I'll address that here in a moment. But also if you see these resources, so we see day 1 resources, day 2 resources, it says available soon, of course. And then we have day 3, day 4, day 5. So every single day of the challenge, guys, I'm going to be giving you the slides that we're going to be going over and whatever exercises that we talk about and any audio tracks or charts or anything that you may need, okay? Here's a link to join the community. I'm going to talk about that in just a moment. And then if we come down further, we'll see that we have some information about our training platform, about a teacher certification. I will also address those in a little bit here, and then the same thing at the bottom of the page. So this is your live page. Like I said, you want to make sure that you come to this page every single day, that you watch the video, of course, whether you can join us live or whether you're on a recording. But this is going to be your one-stop shop for all the resources that you need. So go ahead and bookmark this page if you haven't already, okay? Next thing we need to take care of is the chat. We want you guys to be able to use the chat so we can communicate and I can talk to you guys back and forth and answer all your questions as we go, okay? Sigmund, saw that I was from Norway, or my grandfather was from Norway. Nice to meet you as well. So on the live page, you see how we have this chat over here. If you put your mouse inside the middle of the chat and you scroll down, see we have a comment from Anna, we have a comment from Sigmund here, from Larry from Australia. Wow, you guys are either up late or up early. That's pretty amazing. We got Jay from California, Lorraine from Ohio. That's amazing. So most fun Monday. Honestly, I forgot it was Monday. Feels like a Friday to me. But if you notice, we have all these chat comments, so you can see everybody who is commenting here. We can interact with everybody. But what I want to show you is the comment function of how do we actually write a comment. So see where it says write your comment? You can click in this box where it says write your comment. And if I just click there and I write something, like I'm going to put the word yes, notice how this little comment button pops up, but also my name. There's a place for my name. So since I only have one hand right now, I'm going to type John, and then I'm going to hit comment. And see how this comment just came through from John? It says yes. If you can use the chat function, go ahead and put a yes in the chat box right now. But I want to see some yeses start coming through. So go ahead and type yes in the chat box and hit enter right now. We see that Gene said awesome. I got a yes. We got Anna got a yes. Let's see some more yeses coming through here. Just want to make sure you guys know how to use the chat function. We got Genius U here. Everybody's saying yes. Dave from Maryland. What's up, Dave? Thanks for being here. Nancy, James, everybody's starting to flow through here. Awesome. Tom, Joseph. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here. This is going to be an amazing experience for you guys. And we're going to do the best we can. Hey, thanks, Dan. Vic, hello. Nice to meet you as well. Awesome. Looks like you guys are using the chat. Perfect. All right, so let's keep moving on. The second thing is the actual community. So we want you guys to all be connected. This isn't just to sit at home and look on your computer all by yourself. We all want to communicate with each other and be able to answer each other's questions and help each other and just share the journey together, right? So Alan, yes, I see that too. Thank you so much. So as far as joining the community, I'm going to show you how to do it. But what I want you to do right now is focus on what we're going to be doing on this session today, okay? And then at the end, we'll have an exercise, we'll have a daily action step where you can then go and join the community, okay? But let me just show you how to do it. So if I go back to my challenge page over here, hey Steve, hey Paul. If I go back to my challenge page, and if I go down to the bottom down here, I'm going to see where it says join the Breakthrough Guitar Supergroup community. All you have to do is click this orange button right here. And when you click that button, you're going to go to our forum, okay? And when you go to the Breakthrough Guitar Forum, where we want to go right now is for challenges. So this says free challenges. As soon as the challenge page, the forum page loads, I just want to scroll down here under Breakthrough Guitar and I want to see free challenges. Hey, we got some people from Belgium. Hey guys from Belgium, all the way across the pond. But you want to go to free challenges and then you can actually click either on free challenges or 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge. If I click on 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge, I come down here where I can start a new chat, or I can actually click right here, and it's going to take me to this forum post. So we got some people already replying in here. All you have to do is click this black button that says reply to this topic. That's literally all you have to do, okay? So that's our forum. Like I said, I'm going to prompt you a little bit later at the end of this challenge to go back to the forum and go ahead and sign up. We don't necessarily need to do that right now unless you just really want to. Right now, we need to focus on what we're going to talk about on this challenge, okay? Is everybody ready to get started? You excited to go? Let me see some yeses in the chat. Got Bob says yes. Gary, hey Gary. Got another Bob, Jim. We got Jody says yes. Got some yeses coming through. Rocky, yes. All right, guys, let's get started. So, this is a couple of things that we're going to talk about over the next 5 days together, okay? So this challenge goes over 5 days, and I'm going to show you how each of the 5 days is like a building block where we're going to practice a little exercise each day. We're going to get better and better each day. We're going to build toward a bigger result, okay? So what we're going to be talking about, the most important thing, is what I consider to be the single most important aha moment or light bulb moment that opens up a whole new world on the fretboard for guitar players. It did the same thing for me. It's done the same thing for countless other thousands of guitar players that I've had the privilege of helping. And that's what we're going to do for you as well. So by the end of our time together, I want you to have this same light bulb moment as well. So you can pick up the guitar, you can play freely by feel without having to think about the notes. You don't have to think about any theory, and where you can just freely flow and express yourself over some background music, okay? And how we're going to do that is, like I said, with small daily bite-sized exercises that build on each other, just like a staircase, so that by the end, you'll be able to have this aha moment. You'll be able to just pick up the guitar and start playing along, even if you don't know the names of the notes that you're playing, or even if you don't know anything about theory. And that's the great part about it, because we don't have to wade through any boring theory to do any of this. We're also going to learn how the 5 elements of what I call the Guitar Freedom Formula actually paves the way to let you play anything that you want to be able to play on guitar. Now, at first that might sound really intimidating, like, oh man, how am I gonna just randomly start soloing and playing like my favorite guitar players, or playing those amazing finger picking parts? Well, of course, you're not going to be able to play like Eric Clapton overnight, right? We all know this takes practice. This is the real world. So what we're going to talk about how each of the 5 elements of the Guitar Freedom Formula allows you to do that, to develop your skills so you really have freedom on guitar and you can play the way that you always wanted. And yes, this is possible, even if it sounds a little bit hard to believe right now. Maybe you've been playing guitar for a while, maybe it's been a few years. Honestly, sometime maybe it's been a few decades. I had one student who had been playing guitar for 70 years, and he'd been trying and buying books and taking lessons and going on YouTube, and he just never really could figure it all out. But yes, this is possible for you, no matter how long you've been playing. It honestly doesn't matter about the size or the shape of your fingers, whether you have short fingers or fat fingers or long fingers or skinny fingers. Guys, it doesn't matter, okay? And I'm going to show you why it doesn't matter. It also doesn't matter how old you are, okay? There's no cutoff age where if you didn't learn guitar by age 14 and you're 15, oh well. It doesn't work that way, guys. You can do this at any age, all right? So specifically today, I want to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to do today, so you just have a more clear picture in your mind of where we're going. So first of all, why is this a challenge? Why did I call this a challenge, and why are we on the 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge? And how does that work? What does that mean? We're also going to talk about how you can win up to almost $3,000 in prizes. Okay, we're going to talk about those prizes here in just a moment. I'm also going to introduce myself a little bit more, just so you know a little bit more about me and why would you be on this call listening to me teach guitar. Like I mentioned before, we're going to talk about the Guitar Freedom Formula, what it is, how it works, how it fits together, and how it does allow you to play anything that you want to play on guitar. And then finally, today we're going to dive in at the tail end of today's call. We're going to dive into the real meat of the guitar playing. We're going to get started with our daily exercise, and then from there that will give us some momentum to lead into tomorrow. So we're really going to start diving in deep to the playing. Okay, Mike, yes, I'm receiving you. I got you here. Thanks for being here, Mike. I appreciate it. Hey, Brett in Florida, nice to be here. Nice to see you on here as well. So first of all, what is a challenge? Why is it a challenge, and how does it work? Okay, so like I told you before, the steps that we're going to go through are literally designed to set you up to see this, what I consider the biggest aha that puts it all together on guitar. So a lot of us as guitar players, many of us have been playing for years or even decades, and we go out there and we learn about things like notes and scales, and we hear this stuff about theory, or maybe even the circle of fifths, or things like the cage system. And there's all kind of different theories that it just seems complicated, right? It seems like we've all probably heard the idea that great musicians are maybe great at math, or music is related to math, and it just seems complicated, right? And as a result, as guitar players, we may learn a few bits and pieces of songs when we just get started. We may learn like a few basic open chords down here on this part of the neck. Some of us never get out of that part of the neck. But the thing is, once you get to a certain point, maybe you learn a few bits and pieces of songs or a few different chords, you start to kind of feel stuck. And all those little things that you learn, maybe you learn little riffs from songs, maybe you learn some chords from some songs, and maybe you learn a few notes here and there, maybe you get a lesson from a teacher or from a book or from a YouTube video, and they all tell you to learn a bunch of different things, and there's all these pieces. And it's almost like we're trying to put together this massive puzzle, and we just have all these pieces, and we don't really know what to do with them, okay? What we're going to be doing in this challenge, and by the end of this challenge, you're going to have the light bulb moment. Like I said, that's what I consider brings all those pieces together and finally makes it make sense. And guys, honestly, there have literally been several students that when they get it, when I show them this and they actually say how it works, they can't help but to laugh out loud. Like they literally laugh out loud in person because it makes so much sense and it's so easy. And all this time they thought it was so hard, okay? So that's why this is a challenge. I want to challenge you to finish it. I want to challenge you to stick with me all 5 days. I want to challenge you to do all of the exercises, okay? Because when you do, I'm telling you, your musical life will change if you felt stuck on guitar. Does that sound exciting to anybody? Just give me a yes in the chat if that sounds exciting. We'll go ahead and move on here. So like I said, that's why this is a challenge, and this is why we have prizes that you can win up to $2,900 in prizes. So let's talk about what are those prizes? What can you win? So I'm going to explain in a moment what first place, second place, third place, and others is, and how is that going to work? We'll explain that in a moment. But our first place prize is actually going to be a lifetime membership to our Guitar Freedom Formula platform. Now that is literally my lifetime's experience of guitar playing and knowledge and how all this fits together so that you can have freedom on guitar. And if you win first place, you're going to win a lifetime membership to the Guitar Freedom Formula. But that's not all. You're also going to win a Breakthrough Guitar Teacher certification. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. Right now, we would just want to get started. We want to cover everything and we want to dive in so you can start playing guitar, okay? Second place, you're going to get a full year access to the entire Guitar Freedom Formula platform, okay? All the courses, it's $1,400 value. Third place, you're going to get Improvising Made Easy bundle, and that's going to show you how to play all the right notes across the neck, so you'll be able to play in any key along with any song, and you'll know exactly what you're doing, okay? And the others, and we'll talk about the others in a moment, but anybody who enters what's called a submission, which we'll talk about here in a second, will also get a $20 gift certificate just for participating, okay? So first of all, how can you win? Well, when you stick with me throughout this entire challenge, when you do all these little daily exercises that we talked about, and you take the stair steps with me and you build up to have this aha moment to where you can start playing freely without having to think about the notes and without having to use any theory to get there, we're going to ask you to do a submission. And what you're going to do is we basically want to see your progress. We want to see what kind of breakthrough you've had. We want to see how this has helped you. And on the last day of the challenge, which is on Friday, we're going to ask you to send in a submission. It can either be through video. You can film a video of yourself playing, or it can just be a little written summary or written paragraph if you don't feel comfortable on video, okay? We're going to explain a little bit more about that a little bit later. On Friday, I'll tell you exactly how all of that works. But the point is, on Friday when you enter your submission, or excuse me, you'll have all weekend. So from Friday until 11:59 p.m. Pacific time in the United States to enter your submission, you'll have all that time. But don't worry, we'll tell you exactly what to do, exactly what the assignment is, everything that you need to know, especially by Friday. But the submissions are how you're going to win. So what we're going to do is whenever you submit, we're going to review all the submissions and we're going to pick winners. So somebody's going to be first place, might be you. Somebody's going to be second place, third place, and everybody else who sends in a submission will get a $20 gift certificate. And there's more. You get more prizes just for participating. Okay, guys? Like I said, this is a challenge. We set this up so that we want to challenge you to finish the entire thing. And the reason for that is because I know it works and I know it can change your guitar playing. Okay? That's why we want you to go through this. We care about your success. That's why we're offering prizes for you to complete this whole thing. So there's a couple of things that even if you just make it to Friday with me, there's a couple of things that are going to happen. First thing is anybody who sends in a submission, whether it's through video or a written submission, they can choose. It's totally up to you, totally optional. You can choose to talk to our team for a free, basically a guidance call. If you've been playing for, doesn't matter how long, whether it's a month or a decade, and you have questions, maybe you want to play blues, maybe you want to play jazz, doesn't matter. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about on that guidance call, okay? And if you do a submission on Friday or after Friday, you will get a free guidance call if you want to. The second thing is, just by being here on the call with me on Friday, I'm going to give you my book called How to Get Unstuck. It describes the top 10 progress-killing mistakes that most guitar players make and how to avoid them. So if you've ever wondered how the pros get really good really, really fast, if you do the 10 things that I lay out in this book, I promise you'll know why, and you'll be able to make 10 times faster progress. Okay? So that's just for showing up on Friday. Now, before we dive in to the Guitar Freedom Formula, how this all fits together, and your daily exercise that we're going to go through today, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself so you know who am I, where did I come from, and why are you here? Why should you listen to me? Why should you spend your time, on a Monday evening or Monday morning or wherever you are, sitting here listening to me, right? So first of all, we've all been on YouTube if you've been learning guitar. We've all seen those guitar gurus who just fly up and down the neck and play a million notes, and they just want to show off, right? They don't really care about trying to teach you something. They really just want to boost their ego and just show off. And they just want everybody to see how great they are. But, as somebody has been in your shoes before, I'm sure we don't really care, right? We want to learn guitar. We want to play like that. I don't really care how fast somebody else can play. I want to play fast, or I want to play whatever it is that I want to play, right? So, the truth is I never expected to be a guitar teacher. I kind of struggled, I really struggled on guitar myself for about 14 or 15 years. And in the beginning, my two older stepbrothers play guitar. Excuse me. My two older stepbrothers play guitar, and they always had guitars laying around, but I would just, pick up the guitar and just make noise with it, basically. I didn't know what I was doing. And this went on for a few years. At some point, I decided to get a little more serious about it. I started buying books, started buying courses, started staying up all night till the sun came up, literally, watching YouTube videos. And yeah, sure, I learned a few bits and pieces of songs. I learned like a few riffs from songs that I liked. I really struggled my way to try to learn tabs, and honestly, I was terrified of reading, sheet music notation. I just couldn't really wrap my head around it. And this went on for years. I really did try my best to put it all together. I mean, I bought books of scales and theory, and I literally, I remember there was one book that I had that was, I don't remember who it was by, but it was a blue music theory book. And I remember getting so angry one day and just getting so fed up where I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down and learn this. And I literally sat down, and one day I went through the entire music theory book 3 times, cover to cover. And I learned a lot of stuff. I knew a lot of stuff, but I couldn't apply a dang thing on my guitar. Like, I just couldn't play anything. And I was just getting so fed up. And, I thought about quitting so many times. In fact, I had almost quit. And it just so happened that when I was in college, I met a friend of mine who was a university marching band director. Long story short, she happened to know a jazz guitar instructor from the university, but he was usually always out of the country because he was from South America. He was from Colombia. Just so happened that she ended up giving me his number, and long story short, I ended up going to his house for a few lessons. And to boil it all down, that's when I discovered this thing I call the 7 feelings. The thing that everything that we play in any key and all the songs, they all connect together with the 7 feelings. And that's going to be something that we're going to be talking about over the coming days here. And once that happened, things really just started taking off for me. Later I went on to play in bands. I wrote and recorded a couple of albums, with some of those bands. And I never expected this to happen, but I went on to open a private guitar school. And what was really interesting was that students came in, and by this point, remember guys, I had been struggling for like 14, 15 years at this point. And when I finally figured this out, when I finally figured how it all connected together, I was under the impression that everybody already knew this. Like, I was late to the party. Everybody was smarter than me. Everybody already knew how all this worked. But students came in and they kept describing things that I used to struggle with. Like, they would learn some scales, they just sounded robotic or sounded mechanical. Or they would learn chords, but their fingers wouldn't cooperate. Like, they couldn't change chords fast enough. Or like their fingers wouldn't do what their brain wanted them to do. And they would just miss notes and mute strings, and it would drive them crazy. And I thought that was so weird because I had been through all that same thing for years and years and years. And I thought, like, seriously, surely somebody's teaching all of this. Surely somebody has solved all this by now. Surely somebody's teaching the 7 feelings out there and showing people how this works without having to, wade through a bunch of music theory. And, long story short, I literally spent hours and hours and hours looking as much as I could on the internet, and nobody was teaching this. So, like I said, I didn't intend to wind up as a guitar teacher, but I just knew that I had to share this. And the reason is because if you see some of these guys here, some of my students, they say things like Scott here. He said, I've collected books, watched videos for a long time. He's basically saying that, I tried to learn scales and I just could never put it all together. And it wasn't until you showed me, he's talking about the 7 feelings, it wasn't until you showed me this that it finally clicked. It all came together. And Jeremiah over here, he said, the best way to describe the Freedom Key system, which is something that we'll talk about a little bit later, he said it's like the guitar version of the Rosetta Stone. I can now read the language of the fretboard. And Elliot over here, he said, I was always missing something, but I could never find out what I was missing. When he found my system, he said a whole new world opened up for me. And, I want you guys to see this theme. The same theme is happening over and over again. In fact, this one over here, this was a message I received recently from Paul. Paul actually graduated from, if you're familiar with the University of Berkeley College of Music, famous music school. He graduated from Berkeley in 1978. And he said that if our program was available when he started, he would have taken our program instead of going to Berkeley, because it's the only thing that captures the heart and the soul of how to sound musical when everything else is just theory and numbers and, just nonsense. It doesn't make sense. So the only reason I share any of this, guys, is that there's an easier way. Most people teach the hard way. I don't know why. I really don't. but there is an easier way to literally just start picking up the guitar, hitting the right notes without having to think about it, and playing by feel, playing the notes that you feel you want to play, the music inside you that you want to express. You can start doing that this week in this challenge, and that's why I want you to finish this challenge, okay? So the thing is, how are the students getting fast results? What is going on? How is it so different than everything else that's out there? Now, personally, my goal was I wanted to be able to just pick up the guitar and just start playing. I just wanted to be able to play freely. I didn't want to have to think about anything. I didn't want to have to look at a chord chart. I didn't want to have to look at tablature or have to read music. Actually, I didn't even want to have to rely on any of that stuff. I wanted to be able to just play music, or hear music and just start playing along, right? I just wanted to have freedom. I wanted to have musical freedom on the guitar. So let me show you what I discovered over the years that helps put this all together. And it's a concept I call the Guitar Freedom Formula. The reason I call it the Guitar Freedom Formula is because it's literally a formula, a mathematical formula that leads to freedom on guitar, okay? So here's how it works. There are only 5 different skills that you need to develop as a guitar player in order to be able to play guitar the way you always wanted. No matter if you want to be able to play funk rhythm songs, really fast solos, arpeggios, songs around the campfire, it doesn't matter what you want to play. If you're playing a guitar, these 5 skill areas, when you develop them, progressively give you the ability to play anything that you want on guitar. Those 5 elements, or the 5 skill areas, are framework, phrasing, fitness, harmony, and rhythm. Now, if you look over here, I have a puzzle, basically a puzzle. And number 1 relates to framework. This represents framework here. What is framework? Framework is your ability to hit the right notes. That's basically what it means. It means that on this guitar, where is the framework? How do I know where to put my fingers to hit the right notes? Just like you see pros on stage, they're not even looking at the guitar neck and they're just playing a concert. How do they know where to put their fingers and they're not thinking about it? And more importantly, how do they know how to miss the wrong notes? How do they know how to avoid the wrong notes? That's all about framework, okay? When you get the framework, you literally will hit all the right notes and not have to think about it. Number 2 is phrasing. Phrasing is what makes those great guitar players who play so good that you just can't get enough, like Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, all those guys. Phrasing is what makes you want to listen to them. It's just like an amazing singer that, sometimes we hear the phrase that a guitar player is singing through the guitar. Phrasing is how they're doing that, okay? When we dive deeper on phrasing, you're going to see how you're going to start to be able to do that too. Third one is fitness. Now, a lot of people think, and we're going to dive more into this tomorrow, okay? A lot of people think that guitar players are just born. Some guitar players are born with the ability to move their fingers all up and down the neck, and it looks super easy and super limber. That's just not true, right? Just like athletes train on the field or on basketball players train inside the gym to then go on the court and play the game at a high level, guitar players have to do the same thing. It's just not talked about that much. Number 4 is harmony. Harmony relates to chords, or mainly any 2 sounds that are played at the same time. Okay, we're going to go much deeper on harmony in a future day on the challenge, but just know that harmony is basically chords. How do we make chords? How do we know that they sound good? What chords go together? All that kind of stuff. And then finally, the last one is rhythm. But when I say rhythm, I don't mean rhythm guitar. I don't mean rhythm as in strumming patterns. I mean the underlying pulse of what you hear in every form of music that you listen to. And when you develop your ability, your body's ability to feel and produce the rhythm, you are going to sound tremendously musical, even if you're playing 1 or 2 or 3 notes. And we're going to talk about that on a future day. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into what we're going to do today in today's exercise. All right. Before we get to that, I have to warn you, don't be a bouncer. I want you to finish this entire challenge, okay? What do I mean by don't be a bouncer? Look, I've seen a lot of guitar players. I've taught a lot of guitar players, hundreds of thousands of guitar players, okay? The ones who make progress, the guitar players who make progress are the ones that stick with one path and they go deep. And they learn everything, even if they've seen it before, even if they've heard it before, they follow the path until the end and they get the result, okay? The people who don't make progress on guitar, they bounce around. That's why I call them bouncers. So maybe they look at a YouTube video and they think, oh, I've seen that before. Or they see some other guy play and they don't like his guitar tone. And they're like, whatever, I don't like that. Well, if you just keep bouncing around from book to book or courses or videos on YouTube or whatever it is, I'm sorry, but you're never going to make progress. That's exactly how you don't make progress on guitar. So please don't be a bouncer. As I always say, if gold was on the surface, everybody would be rich, but they're not. You have to go deep. The pros know you have to go deep if you want to get the results, okay? So promise me right now that you are going to go deep with me on this challenge. Now let's get to it. Like I said, the small exercises that we're going to do each day are designed to build on each other toward one big result that we're going to get to toward the end of the challenge, and that's why I want you to stick around toward the end of the challenge. Like I said before, some of what we're going to be doing actually might seem too simple. First of all, that's a good thing if it seems too simple, because that means it's easy. And I don't know about you, but I really like things to be easy. If you've seen something before, if you've heard something before, great. That means your job is easier. You don't have to learn it again. You don't have to spend a lot of time to go through it. But if you haven't, even if you have or even if you haven't, it doesn't matter. Your job is to stay on track, finish this challenge with me, do every single exercise, and you will reap the rewards. I promise you. Just follow along with me and you will see the guitar in an entirely new way by the end of this challenge. So what is today's exercise? All I want you to do, like I said, we're going to keep this very simple. All I want you to do today, and your homework today, is to learn one pattern. That's all you're going to do. Okay, I'm going to show you this pattern in just a second. But I want to tell you that what we're going to be doing is, I want you to focus today, even if you've seen this pattern before, even if you haven't seen this pattern before, it doesn't matter. I'm going to show you how to play it. I'm going to show you what our goal is for the day, and how we're going to play it, and what you should be looking to get to by tomorrow so you're ready for the challenge. And then I'm also going to show you a few different common mistakes, a few things that really kind of trip people up or can keep you from learning as quick as you can. Okay. Before I show you the pattern itself, I just want to point this out. I'm not going to go through this on this challenge. You can go through this yourself. You're going to have access to all these slides. In fact, if we go back here to your live page, right here, at the end of today, we're going to upload your day one resources. So after this challenge is over, as soon as we can get it up, we're going to put your recording up here so you can watch the recording of this challenge. But we're also going to give you your day one resources, and this is going to be all the slides that I went over today. Okay, so you're going to have all of this. So don't feel like you're getting left behind. Don't feel like you need to scribble down a bunch of notes. Okay, you're going to have all of this a little bit later. So that said, there's a YouTube video, a really quick YouTube video here that I don't want you to watch now. I want you to watch this later tonight on your own time. But this is showing you how to read these little scale charts. It's super easy, but if you've never seen anything like this before, it can get a little bit confusing. So please watch that. And then in just a moment, when I show you the pattern that we're going to play, I'm going to talk about the actual fingers to use. Okay? So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen so I can show you the pattern and what it looks like. Before we do that, I want to point your attention to the fact that this says start here at the bottom. And the reason for that is the low E string right here is on the bottom of this chart. So this part of the chart would be where the 0 fret is, or this where your headstock would be. The body of the guitar would be on this side, okay, if you're right-handed. That's how this looks. This will be explained more in the How to Read Scale Charts video, so go ahead and watch that after we finish up today. But I just wanted to point that out. So you're going to start here at the bottom of this chart, because that's where the low E string is, and then you're going to go all the way up here to the high E string, and you're going to end right here. So let me stop sharing. Let me stop sharing, and then I'm going to show you how do we play this pattern. And for any of you guitar nerds like me, wondering what guitar this is an Aria Cincinnato travel guitar. It's pretty cool. I like it. It doesn't weigh anything. In the chat box, can you tell me if you can hear my guitar? Can anybody hear that? Yes, no? Go ahead and give me a yes in the chat box if you can hear this. There we go. Okay. So here's the pattern that we're going to be playing today, okay? It's very simple, but I'm going to play it slowly for you. And we're going to go backwards. Okay, so that's the pattern. I know you have this on the recording, so you can go back and watch it. I'm going to play it a little bit faster so you can see what I'm doing, and then we're going to talk about some common challenges that people have. Because as you can see, I'm stretching my fingers out pretty far right here. So here's the pattern again. Backwards. Okay, so that's the pattern. What I just did is the goal for today. Okay, this is going to be what the aim of your lesson is going to be today. I got some feedback here. It's not very loud, so I'll turn it up. Let me play this one more time, just so you guys can hear it. I just want to make sure you can hear what I'm doing. Here's the pattern one more time. Okay, that's the pattern. That is the goal for this lesson. Now, I'm going to keep the camera down here so you can see my guitar, and I just want to show you a few mistakes that people make or a few things that are going to make this easier, okay? And by the way, this is going to be on your slides. So the first thing is thumb placement and or the need of sliding. Now, if any of you have picked up a guitar before, you've played anything, I guarantee you, you've probably had your thumb come up above the top of the neck and you've been playing something like this. A lot of us have this really tight gorilla grip, and that's really hard to, you have a lot of tension in your fingers, and it's really hard to move your fingers. But I want to show you something. The first three notes of the pattern are like this. So the pattern starts on the 3rd fret, in this case, and then it goes down to the 5th fret. Well, if you have trouble stretching your first finger and your pinky finger that far, I guarantee you, first of all, you will have trouble at first, and a couple of things that I'm about to show you will help you fix that, okay? I just want to point out that it's completely normal that everybody has this challenge at first. Every single person, okay? If you have trouble stretching, that's nothing wrong with you. That's just how our natural human fingers are. We have to condition our fingers to be able to stretch like this. So first mistake or first tip that I want to show you is thumb placement. If my thumb comes up here above the top of the neck, notice the space in between my first finger and my pinky finger. This is as far as I can stretch those fingers apart. The more my thumb comes up, the closer these fingers get together, right? I physically cannot reach all the notes. So if your thumb is up here, that means in order to play these notes, if you're trying to play the notes, you have to slide like this. That's not what we want, okay? We don't want to have to slide. Now, that said, the most important thing we can do right now is learn where the notes are, okay? Learn the pattern. It's not that important right now if you have to slide. If you have to slide it at first, that's fine, but I encourage you to learn where the notes are and then work on your finger positioning, okay? So just to recap, what I said was the further your thumb goes up, the harder it is for you to stretch your fingers apart. What we want to do is slide your thumb down toward the middle of the back of the guitar neck, right there in the middle of the guitar neck, okay? When I do that, the further my thumb goes down, the farther apart my fingers stretch. That's mistake number one. So we want to put your thumb down in the middle of the neck, okay? Look at my wrist. See how my wrist bends out like this? The second mistake is people can play the first note. You might be able to play the first note, but you might not be able to reach this note over here, this note with your pinky. So I can play the first one, but I can't reach all the way over here with my pinky. What do I need to do? You need to change your guitar position, more of a classical position, and you're rotating your elbow in like this. Watch what happens to my first finger and my pinky when I rotate my elbow in. You see how my pinky automatically goes up? It automatically goes up toward that low E string. So if I'm trying to play this note right here, and I can't reach this note over here, all I have to do is rotate my elbow. Now look, I can reach all the way up here. See where my elbow goes in toward my body? That's what you want to do to be able to reach further, okay? I encourage you to go back and watch this recording again and adjust your hand positioning so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, let's go on to the next tip that we have for you. So we talked about how your pinky can't reach, and then I want to touch a little bit more on your guitar playing position. Now, you can play in whatever position feels comfortable for you, okay? I don't want to tell you that there's a right way to do it, but the fact is there is an easier way to do it. If you play with your guitar on your picking hand leg, like the guitar right now is on my left leg, excuse me, my right leg, I'm right-handed. The guitar neck is pointed like this, okay? When the guitar neck is pointed like this, it's really hard for me to bend my wrist, hurts my wrist a lot actually. It's really hard for me to bend my wrist and reach all these notes up here. So what we want to do, and what you can do, is actually take the guitar, and I want you to put the bottom of the guitar, this part right here, in between your legs. And just like it's called classical guitar position. Now look, we're not trying to play classical guitar, that's not the point. If you like classical guitar, great. But I'm not trying to tell you to play classical guitar. I'm trying to make it easier for you to learn guitar, okay? So if I play in this classical position like this, it makes it so much easier for my elbow to rotate in. I can reach all these notes. Look, I can reach around the neck. If you ever tell me, if you were in my studio right now, and you're in my virtual studio, if you ever tell me that you can't reach, hey Jonathan, I can't reach these notes on the low E string, I'm going to tell you to do this. Look, you can reach around your guitar neck. You can reach notes that are on the back of the guitar neck if you want to. You can do it, okay? You can reach all of those notes. Just follow the 3 simple tips that I just showed you. Number 1 is the thumb placement. Put your thumb in the middle of the neck, okay? Number 2, rotate your elbow in so your pinky comes up to meet the low E string. Third thing is classical guitar position. Put your guitar in classical guitar position. It's so much easier to reach. If you've already been doing this, great, you're ahead of the pack. All right, so now let's go ahead and move on. I think I'm going to share screen again. I've already showed you the exercise that we're going to do today. So now let's move over so you can see what our homework's going to be. So these are the common mistakes that we just talked about. Like I said, these are going to be on your slides. They're going to be in your day 1 resources whenever you get those. I've already told you this before, but look, anything new, it takes time and it takes a little bit of effort to just get, okay? It's not going to be, some people out there will tell you that you'll become a guitar god in an hour or something like that. That's total BS. That's not true. When you practice these few little tips that I just showed you, it's going to make your job a lot easier to get better a whole lot faster, okay? So the action steps for today. We talked about at the very beginning about joining the community right here. So here's the live page, or excuse me, the challenge page. You want to go down and click this button to join the community, and that's how you're going to do that. So let me show you one more time on your action steps. So you're going to go to your page, your challenge page where you're seeing me right now, and then we're going to go down, join the Breakthrough Guitar Supergroup community. You're going to click this orange button that says access your community, and then that will take you over to our forum. If you're not signed up for the forum, you will need to click this black sign up button over here at the top. All you have to do, just like anything else, just create your username, password, and you'll be able to, interact with everybody else, okay? We would love if you would read the Start Here post, and then if you would come down here to introduce yourself. We would absolutely love if you did that. I'm not going to force you to do that, okay? You can do it if you want to, if you feel comfortable. We would love to have you. We would love to get to know you in the forum. But I just want to point out the free challenges area. So as soon as you go to your forum, you're going to see the Breakthrough Guitar area. You're going to come down here to free challenges. You're going to click on 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge. You can click here on this little forum area. Welcome to the 5-day lead guitar light bulb challenge. And then you can come down here and click this black button that says reply to this topic. You can read everything down here. You can read everybody else's. You can introduce yourself, talk to the other members, and just have a blast, okay? That's step number 1. Join the community. Do that after this challenge. I say go ahead and do it immediately just because you're already on the computer. You can already go ahead and join it. Second thing is, as soon as they're available, come back to your challenge page and download the slides. If you want to rewatch the recording of this should be up for you in a couple of hours. We'll get it up as soon as we can, maybe even sooner than that. We'll try as hard as we can, okay? But as soon as we'll do that, we're going to put the recording at the top of your challenge page, right up here where it says you are here. We're going to put your recording right there. Okay, and you will be able to download your slides that we went over today right here. And remember, your slides from today have your homework in it. So here's the pattern that we're going to learn. Here's the video about how to read scale charts. You already have this recording, so you know how to play this pattern. So I encourage you to rewatch, go ahead and actually play the pattern. Now, step 2 is this about the pattern. When you learn the pattern, your goal is to be able to play that pattern like I showed you, to be able to play it in ascending order, meaning going up in pitch, or in other words, on the guitar, going from this part of the guitar all the way to the high part of the guitar, and then all the way back down again. The goal is to be able to do that without having to look at the chart. Okay, just memorize that pattern. It does not need to be perfect, and you do not need to play fast. I encourage you not to try to play fast, because then you're going to be focused on playing fast, and you're probably going to play a little bit sloppy. You know, when we try to speed up, our playing just falls apart. Look, if you can already play fast, great, go for it. But if you can't, don't worry about that right now. The goal is not to play fast. It's just to memorize it, to get the pattern under your fingers, because we're going to use this pattern tomorrow, and I will guarantee you that you wish you would have practiced it to get a little bit comfortable with it, because we're going to start accelerating tomorrow, okay? So all you have to do is learn that pattern. I hope you've enjoyed everything that we talked about today. Just to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to talk about tomorrow when we dive in, after you learn the pattern, we're going to talk about how do you actually make your fingers hit the right notes and stretch further, just like I showed you here. I can stretch my fingers pretty far. And when I started, I could not do that. I can't do that with my right hand because I don't play guitar with this hand, but I could only stretch about 4 frets to start with. So what we're going to be talking about tomorrow is how do you progressively get your fingers to stretch further and move easier so that everything you play feels a lot easier, okay? Second thing we're going to talk about is how do you always sound musical even if you're only playing one note or one chord. We've all heard those guitar players that maybe they play 1 or 2 notes and it just sounds irresistible. It's like you're hearing their soul, right? But they're only playing a couple of notes. What are they doing? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And lastly, there's one thing that I'm going to talk about tomorrow that literally makes everything you play, no matter if it's solos, no matter if it's scale notes, no matter if it's chords, no matter if it's finger picking, no matter if it's strumming, doesn't matter what it is. This thing makes everything you learn and everything you play way easier, which means you can progress way faster with a lot less effort. So go ahead and do today's exercise, practice it up, get comfortable with that pattern, and I'll see you in day 2, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Enjoy.